Let's talk mom to mom. I hear all the time from moms who tell me that their once enthusiastic child had suddenly lost all interest in learning. He was doing so well. What happened? They all ask the same question. I've heard the story countless times, and the issue isn't your kid's intelligence, motivation, or even grades. It's how they're being taught. When a bright child suddenly starts avoiding school or showing a lack of motivation, it's a sign that something deeper is probably going on. And if it's not addressed, it can lead to lasting damage, lower self-esteem, missed opportunities, and daily struggles. But don't worry, there are ways to rekindle that love of learning, no tears or bribing needed. First of all, identify the problem. Let's face it, the traditional way of learning just doesn't work for every child. The system built for a different time is falling short for so many kids today. Here's why. Every child learns differently, but most skills expect everybody to learn the same way in a lockstep method. It's like trying to fit everybody in the same pair of shoes. Stressful mornings. Sound familiar? When learning feels like a chore, both kids and parents feel the strain. And honestly, your kid's confidence suffers. Kids who struggle often internalize the issue and think, I'm just not smart enough. They don't blame the system, they blame themselves, which can stick with them. So, red flag, if your child is dreading school, it's not just a phase. It doesn't go away after a couple days. It could be a sign that something radical needs to change. I would recommend you ditch the quick fixes. Many parents try doing things like changing school systems, going to a private school where it's the same traditional lockstep method but with a much higher price tag. They might hire tutors to work with their kids. Again, a higher price tag, and once the tutor goes away, the kids are still in that rigid system. Or they buy new curriculum thinking these fixes will help. But these can just be band-aid solutions and they don't address the core problem. So what really needs attention is how your child is learning, not what they're learning. Let's talk about 3 real solutions. Let's talk about what actually works. If you want to get your child excited about learning again, here are some approaches that I know can help. Number 1, personalized learning. Every child has their own way of learning. Some thrive with hands-on activities, some would prefer to read or discuss. Are they morning or evening? Are they active or passive kind of people? Help them learn what their pace is without the pressure to catch up. And then connect their interests to what they're learning. Math and Minecraft? I think you're going to get a resounding yes from about everybody. Here's a real mom win. A child who struggles with math but loves cooking, tie the math into cooking. Not only will your family eat well, but your kids might just discover a passion for math. And by the end of the semester, math might not be a struggle. I've done this with many kids. What is the thing that they love? Tie it into an academic subject and integrate the two. And all of a sudden, the kids have a reason to learn the subject material. Create a learning environment that really fits with your family. Now, of course, you want to know how your kids learn, but you want to know how you learn and how you teach as well. Learning doesn't always have to happen in a classroom, so create flexible schedules. This will reduce stress. Create learning spaces in your home that are cozy but have a specific focus, and then create a mix of structured and self-paced learning to keep things fun and teach kids resiliency and self-advocacy. So many parents have told me that just shifting their routines around have helped reduce stress. They make mornings less of a battle and they turn learning into something enjoyable for everybody. And that's a win-win. So teach skills that matter. Let's be honest. Most of us don't really think we use algebra every day, but we do use critical thinking skills, we use abstract reasoning, and we need to tie those subject matter skills that seem so silly and not helpful to life into what we are going to use and need, especially in this 4th industrial revolution when our kids are going to live and work in a global gig economy. School should be about preparing kids for life, not just test scores. And when learning connects to real world, real kids stay engaged and exciting. And that is a win. I know what you're thinking. What about socialization? What if my kid falls behind? What if they won't get into college? I get it. These are big concerns, and I've got answers for you based on 30 years of alternative education and helping kids go from kindergarten into Ivy Leagues, the military, colleges and universities, entrepreneurial pursuits, and to work. So I can help you out. I've put together a free guide for you called The Parent's Guide to Stress-Free Learning, and it's full of tips to make learning more fun and less overwhelming. You're going to want to download that guide now so you can get started on the journey to a happier, more engaged learner. And don't forget, next week, I'll be sharing success stories from parents who've made the leap and you don't want to miss it. Follow me and drop a comment below. What's your biggest struggle with learning right now? Let's chat. I'd love to hear from you. Listen, your child is not broken. They are fully capable of falling in love with learning, either for the first time or again. And with the right approach, I know you've got this.